Bryce Canyon National Park is located in southwestern Utah in the United States.
Bryce Canyon was named after Mormon pioneer Ebenezer Bryce. It is located on the eastern edge of the Paunsaugunt Plateau in south-central Utah and has 14 horseshoe-shaped amphitheaters. In 1923, President Warren G. Harding declared that Bryce Canyon is a national monument. In 1924, legislation was passed to establish the area as Utah National Park, but it was not met until 1928 when they changed the park's name to Bryce Canyon National Park. The size of the park was increased to the current 35,835 acres in 1931 by President Hoover. This park was used for seasonal hunting and gathering activities as early as 1200 AD. Now around 1.5 million people come to visit the park yearly.
The mission of the National Park Service at Bryce Canyon National Park is to preserve, conserve, protect, and provide for the enjoyment of nationally significant resources, including spectacular geologic formations, native vegetation, wildlife, and the history of human interaction with them. Tourism is a big part of Bryce Canyon National Park, with a plethora of activities. This includes winter sports like snowshoeing, camping, hiking, and stargazing. Bryce Canyon National Park is home to a large variety of plant and animal species, including 59 species of mammals, 11 species of reptiles, 4 species of amphibians, 175 species of birds, 45 species of butterflies and moths, and over 1,000 species of insects.
The Bryce Canyon has 3 overlapping zones that consist of different flora and fauna. The upper Sonoran zones, altitude of 6,000 to 7,000 feet, has sagebrush, the pinyon pine, and Utah juniper. The transition zone, 7,000 to 8,500 feet, consists of yellow pine, which is the most abundant tree in the park. The Canadian zone, above 8,500 feet, has white pine, ancient bristlecone pine, white fir, and blue spruce. Many of the animals in the park can live in most of the areas. Only the reptile species can live in the cold Paunsaugunt region forest.
Prairie dogs inhabit shortgrass prairies and mountain meadows. Their diet consists of grass and forbs. The following animals are species at the park that prey on prairie dogs that are classified as species of concern: coyotes, American badgers, ringtail cats, Canadian lynx, Cooper's hawks, golden eagles, peregrine falcons, long-eared owls, as well as many bat species. Prairie dogs are affected mainly by diseases, poisonings, droughts, habitat alterations for cultivation and grazing, as well as plague outbreaks when overpopulated. To protect prairie dog species, they are moved from agricultural areas to public land sites. Prairie dogs once inhabited enormous areas of the western Great Plains. When the first pioneers crossed the shortgrass prairies from 1896 to 1914, the total population of prairie dogs was estimated to have been over 5 billion. The settlement of the West disseminated these enormous populations. By the 1920s, the Utah prairie dogs numbered 95,000. By the 1960s, populations had declined drastically due to poisoning, the bubonic plague, and drought. By 1972, only 3,300 Utah prairie dogs remained. In 1973, the Utah prairie dog was listed as an endangered species on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife List of threatened and endangered species. Loss of suitable habitat was predicted to result in the species extinction by the year 2000. Conservation strategies included reintroducing them to Bryce Canyon National Park. Today, nearly 200 animals live in the park, and the park comprises of the largest protected population of Utah prairie dogs. In 1992, prairie dogs were transported to the Awapa Plateau to establish another viable colony. Recent successes have caused the Utah prairie dog status to be downlisted from endangered to threatened. However, populations still remain precariously low. It is hoped that more reintroductions within the park will help get the species off the endangered species list altogether. So we hope you learned a thing or two about Bryce Canyon National Park and their prairie dog population.